Good morning, Diana. Citizens of our beautiful country. Today I wish to speak to you on a number of issues, but I want to take this opportunity to wish you and your families Easter that is filled with joy, fun, that is safe, and one that helps to bring communities and families together, and one in which you can find the real meaning of this season and the festivity around this season. Of course, we have our own culture and ways in which we celebrate this weekend, and I urge all families, parents to ensure that their children fly their kites in a safe environment, and that you pay attention to your safety, that of your family and community. Today, I wish to touch or elaborate on a topic that I've been speaking about for quite some time. You know, many people ask me, what keep you up at night? What keeps me up at night is the welfare of the people of this country. Not the rhetoric, not the propaganda, not the hate speeches, not the negativity which some people are bent on promoting, and the disinterest in the development agenda of our country, in the transformation of our country. You know, what keeps me up at night is how our babies are affected in the healthcare system, how our investments that we're making in a different sector, how are those investments helping to transform the lives of people. Worrying about the people who spend long hours in traffic just to get to work. You know, I know in Region 3, and that is why we're working so hard to have these major highways, the new Demerara River Bridge, and all the other key infrastructure to make life easier, to make things more efficient. Working on having the water treatment plants completed so that you can get treated water in your homes. Expanding our social programs so that your children can get more, whether it's uniform grant, the transportation grant. Ensuring that we make the investments that will give your families greater prosperity and bring greater benefits to your communities and your families. Building out of the community roads, helping our farmers. These are the issues that keep me up at night. Understanding what is happening in a global environment. We have a sophisticated economy now with oil and gas. We have to be constantly ahead of what is taking place on the global market. Understanding issues of supply and demand, understanding different policy shifts and how it affects the sector and affect our revenue flows, understanding what is happening on the gold market. These ensuring that our people are safe, working every day to remove the bureaucracy and the hindrances in delivering government services. That is why we want to go on an electronic system, one that is transparent and open, one that removes the human bias, one that removes that human discretion. That is the type of things that keep me awake at night, ensuring that we deliver in a more efficient, reliable way to the people of our country. You know, many people today talk about building trust and bridging the divide and helping to advance our country. But there are some truths that we cannot escape. If you look at how some people approach this whole issue of building trust and creating harmony in our country, it is worrying. You know, there are some who believe that you know, we should have succumbed and accepted an attempt to rig the elections and an attempt to steal the votes of people, and that would have been fair, that would have been just. So the conversation around that attempt, they're trying to erase that conversation. They're trying to erase that guilt. And they believe that this somehow reflects our moral and ethical compass to say that we want to create social harmony, We want a united society, and that could have only come about through rigged elections and could have only come about through an attempt to steal elections. That is not the way you build modern society. That is not the way you build a democratic society. Now, one cannot be bullied into trust. You have to earn trust. You cannot bully your way into gaining the trust of people. You cannot wish away your attempts to rig the elections by not even acknowledging that we are sorry, we have made a mistake, we have made a miscalculation. The world is far advanced of our of their interest in rigging elections. So for us to build a society that moves into a modern era, we have to build trust. But that trust cannot be bullied. That trust has to come with certain values and certain elements. Political trust incorporates justice, adherence to democratic norms. These are important components of political trust. You cannot turn on and off your democratic values as you wish and say that, oh, we are champions of democracy, and it's like a switch you're turning off and off. Democracy is what you live every day, what you breathe every day, what you project every day. You cannot be serious about freedom, human rights, justice, fairness, and democracy when you try to nakedly steal an elections. No, it doesn't happen that way. So when we are talking about building this trust and enhancing this trust and creating an environment in which we have political trust, we have to first of all fix this. We have to fix what took place in 2020. That does not say we cannot work in parallel on building and enhancing trust. We have to do that. But when the players try to demonstrate values that are not supported by their own behavior and action, then you ask the question. Political trust requires hard work, commitment, and selfless service. So I am not worried about this propaganda every day, because what they're trying to do is to build a propaganda around race and ethnicity, something that was used as a weapon. They weaponized this in the past, but this has no place in a modern Guyana. This has no place in a modern Guyana. That is why this government, led by myself as president, I'm going to work with the people directly. I'm going to take my message directly to the people. I'm going to go to the communities and embrace the people, embrace their problems, find solutions with them, enhance trust at the community level. We're not going to allow the intellectual authors of this divisive politics, race-baiting politics to succeed. No, I am not going to allow it. I am pledging to the people of this country that we're going to bypass the intellectual authors and come directly to the people. Ethnicity has no place as a political tool in a modern Guyana. Absolutely no place as a political tool in a modern Guyana. Holding on to this death strategy is like trying to save a drowning person, trying to save themselves by holding on to another drowning person. That is the message I want you to understand. We're going to work hard to build that trust, to build a commitment, to enhance the commitment, to partner with every single community of this country. That is the only way. We have to erase those who believe that the weaponizing of ethnicity and race still have a place in our society. Every single time an Afro-Guyanese embrace the PPP, they're ridiculed. They're called all sorts of names. Why? Why? Why can't you respect and honor the democratic choice of these persons? It's not, ethnicity is not a convenience, it's a blessing. We are all created equally as humans. There is no superiority of any group over another group. We are all part of a human family. I am not going to sit by and allow the historical narrative, and a lot of those who are peddling this narrative are dinosaurs of the past, to return, to use it, to weaponize it. It has no place in modern Guyana. It has no place in our communities. So we're going to build communities stronger. We're going to build communities working with each other. We're going to cement the gains of democracy by bringing people together. This weekend offers us a great opportunity to reflect on how individually and then collectively as a community we can do our part. We can play our part. We must not allow ourselves, especially the ordinary people in the community, we cannot allow ourselves to be used as pawns anymore. We have seen the only way the intellectual authors can succeed is if we allow them to use us as pawns. If we allow them to use us as receptacles of hate. We have seen what that did to us in our history when external forces exploited this vulnerability. Today, we cannot allow that, especially from those internally and those who sit from the outside, who see this as their only hope for political relevance. Political relevance must be based on your ability to shape ideas, deliver vision, create policies, win the hearts and minds of people based on what you project for their well-being, for the development of communities, for the advancement of communities. These years of using people as pawns in the process of having political advantage is over. The swiftness of the news and the open, direct method of working with people and involving them does not require any translator or anyone to define what the message is. We do not need to sit with someone who will compose and interpret what the narrative is. I can speak to the people of our country, our beautiful country, directly, anytime, instantaneously. I come to the communities. That is where I love going. On the ground with the people, talking to them, letting them understand what this message is, what the plans are, how we are building a Guyana in which all of us will be proud, an economy in 2030 that will be far different, that will be relevant, competitive, one that will ensure the survival of all of us as a people and our country as a state. This is what keeps me up at night. This is where I put my energy. And then there's this new strategy. Well, not new strategy, a strategy that they used effectively in the past. That is a strategy of rehashing falsehood in pursuit of winning sympathy. This is also outdated. I see they're reinventing old propaganda and old videos, all of which was debunked. All of which was debunked. None of which is supported by facts. Whether it is the propaganda of extrajudicial killing of Afro-Guyanese brothers and sisters, was completely debunked in a Starbuck News analysis. But they will continue to use this because this is their tool. This propaganda, this falsehood. These falsehood is what they use to infiltrate the minds and the brains and the mindset of people. This is what they use to psychologically get to people. But in today's world, where access to information, access to facts, access to reality does not depend on anyone presenting it to you. You can do your own research. Would not allow them to win that sympathy. This strategy of rehashing falsehood to gain that sympathy is outdated by factual demonstration of what reality is. Look at our investments in people, investments in communities, investments in the different regions, investment in social services, investment in agriculture. You will see there is no disparity. If you compare what we invest per capita in every sector, in every single region, you will see that even regions and communities that the opposition would claim they love and care about got more investment under this government, got more resources under this government, got more support under this government. When they created a tax burden of more than 200 taxes, it is every community and every person that was affected. When the housing program went dead, it is every person, every family that was affected. When they removed the grant to the school children, it was every family, every child that was affected. So you just have to look at the facts. I challenge them to look at our per capita investment in every single region and show where there is discrimination, show where there is bias. We are going beyond every single threshold to support every single community and every single region. That is what we do. There is absolutely no factual position that they can advance to show that any community is being discriminated or left behind. And I urge the ministers and the sector leaders to present these facts continuously to the people of our country, so that the falsehood and the narrative that they build will be continuously debunked by the facts and the truth. That is what is continuously needed as we advance this country, as we build a modern society and a modern country and a modern democracy. I challenge them to look at the house start allocation. Look at the allocation of scholarships under the Gold program. Look at the allocation of scholarship in our country. Look at the police force, the army, the public service. Look at the composition. Where is the discrimination? Not under this government. It will never occur. The truth presents the reality. The facts are grounded in the truth, not the falsehood. And you can see, just reflect back on a few years ago. You will see those who strive and those who build a new narrative on the falsehood in the past. They are emerging. The rice farmers just have to reflect on 5 years ago and honestly speak to their conscience as to where the support came from. The sugar industry, the bauxite industry, the forestry sector, the mining sector. The facts and the truth are there. Every single sector we have supported. Every single group we have supported. Investment in time and the people. You can't put a value to that. Compare the investment we are making in time with the people of this country. Going to every single community, spending time with the people, listening to them, understanding their problem, understanding their perspective, walking with them, embracing them. There is no value to that investment. Compare governments. Who come to you? Who listen to you? Who walk in your communities? These are the realities. The realities of government employment is glaring. In the end, is the building of strong institutions, the removal of human interference, and delivering governance that will reflect the realities that is important. That is why we're not going to spare any effort in the utilization of technology to deliver good governance, openness and transparency. So my dear friends, I thought I'd just address some of these issues this morning. As we work in building stronger communities, at the end of the day, I do not intend to leave behind a country that is disunited, a country that is still pushed towards the mistakes of the past by the very people who are part of creating that mistake. Healing requires an acceptance of guilt. But even if there is not that acceptance, we are going to partner. We are going to build a society in which the voices of all will be heard, in which the prosperity of every citizen will be the prosperity of our country. Every night we spend hours debating, discussing ideas, trying to figure out a model through which we can have every Guyanese family involved in some aspect of the business of oil and gas, creating and working on a model that would give Guyanese a holding in some aspect of this business. That is what we worry about. That is what I spend my time, this government spends its time thinking about. Advancing policies and ideas, understanding problems, analyzing global context, and positioning Guyana, as I said before, to be among the top countries, if not the top country, on food security, energy security, and climate security. In a world 2030 and beyond, there must be no conversation on climate and environment without Guyana being mentioned. There must be no conversation about food security without Guyana being mentioned. There must be no conversation about energy security without Guyana being mentioned. And the conversation of Guyana must be one in which the people are respected for their unity, in which every family can have prosperity, one in which our people can enjoy the best possible health care and education. Unlike the political opposition, we have no interest in rigged elections. We have no interest in undemocratic rule. The more openness in our electoral system, the more observers, the more independent observers, international observers, the more we welcome. Today, I say to you, my dear Guyanese brothers and sisters, that our future rests in our hands. The unity of our community and the unity of our people requires individual decisions. Not decisions perpetuated and advanced by intellectual authors who are selfish in their agenda. I'm asking all of us, to make individual decisions, to do our own analysis, to find our own truth, and in doing so, I'm convinced that as a people, we will enjoy the fruits of unity and the fruits of togetherness. God bless you. God bless your families. And have a safe weekend.